How to plan your next career move. The who, what, when, where, why, and how of your next career. Many Americans would do their career moves by staying with one or two organizations for many years, getting a gold watch. Now you might get some kind of digital time device, but this is all different. Most folks have multiple jobs and certainly several careers as the economy changes and they discover what they love. There's an old quote that says, "Find something you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life." I really like that quote. But today we're going to look at 6 ways to tee up your entrepreneurial and next career outlook. Welcome to What's Next with Money. Let's get started. We're looking at 6 ways of how to plan your next career move. And we're going to do this through a series of questions. And you may want to grab your tablet or a piece of paper and take a few notes and perhaps even rewatch this episode. So here's the first set of questions. The who. Who are you now? If you could change the past, what would you have done differently in your life, professionally and personally? What is important? Compensation, job responsibilities, growth opportunities, prestige, impact, even your work location. And you can rank those. Is outside recognition from family, friends, the media, or even professional awards of your work and career accomplishments important? Who are you with? Spouse, loved one? Is there something the two of you might want to accomplish together from a professional and career point of view? Who relies on you? Who's dependent on your income and your current job responsibilities? Who is in your network? Think about this. What's the best group of people you've worked with in the past? That kind of ensemble of folks, and why? Conversely, what's the worst group of people you've worked with in the past and why? You know, there's a story of a business leader I really admire for his tenacity and creativity, and that's Ted Turner, the founder of CNN, TBS, and TNT. He often said some of the best times in life was when they were working on a startup or getting something launched. Having worked in political campaigns and even once as a candidate, and years ago doing a short project with Walt Disney Imagineering on Epcot, these are the times of life that I have just treasured so much. The focus was intent. The people and the talents brought out their best selves to that activity or campaign. Maybe you can recapture some of that in your next career move. We're talking about 6 ways of how to plan your next career move, and part of this is focusing even on being an entrepreneur. Here's the next segment, the what. What are your skills? What are the best parts of your current job? What are the worst parts? What was your best job? What are your greatest strengths? What can you do faster or better than others? What do you find easy that others struggle with? What gives you energy? In what ways are you uniquely qualified above others? And what do you like to do? Maybe a point of emphasis. Do you like numbers, words, organizing, writing, speaking, data science, technology, mentoring, managing teams? Are you a craftsperson? Can you fix things? Are you a people person? And here's a long-term thing, maybe the idea of beginning with the end in mind that Stephen Covey talks about. At what age would you like to end the major portion of your career? This is where you might go part-time, slow down, or retire. What do you imagine yourself doing just before that point? What is that kind of like last big job, gig, small business, or entrepreneurial activity? And it could be part-time, but it could be something you've dreamed about for years. Well, be sure to hit that subscribe button here at What's Next with Money. We're talking about 6 ways of how to plan your next career move. Here's the next one, the when. This deals about the time of your life, the time of life you're in, and the time where you are right now working. You might be in a small business or building one, preparing to do a side gig. You may be in a point of study, preparing for your next gig, trying to update your skills, and maybe involved in a degree or training. But right now, you can do so many things short of a formalized degree or college courses. There are many courses, micro-learning opportunities, certificate programs. Even where you work in a government agency or a company, there are often company-sponsored trainings. And list those. Try to take advantage of that. Look at their catalog. See what they have. A lot of those are online and very helpful. A radical new study just came out from the National Bureau of Economic Research saying an astonishing statistic. 30 million Americans in the U.S. right now without four-year degrees have the skills in place to earn 70% more than they earn right now. We are moving in more and more to a skills-based economy, skill-based competencies versus degrees. And degrees are often a gateway or a way to sort people to get certain jobs. But with people needing competency and ways to show and demonstrate that short of very expensive degrees, it's kind of a new phase, a new opportunity. Part of my background's in public policy. And years ago, I worked on occupational licensing reform. This is the idea where usually a state government sets up standards and hurdles people have to go through, including licensing fees and continuing education, to practice certain occupations or professions. And some of those are very necessary. But a lot of times, extra requirements are added to help those that are already licensed and to create barriers of entry for new people trying to get into that business. And that holds back people from their own economic opportunity and often raises and imposes economic costs on consumers. The same thing's kind of happening with degrees as well, especially with student loan debt and the high cost of degrees and the time it takes to complete them. So skills-based, focusing on what you can bring and not really waiting on the degree is something to consider. And look at those ideas about mini courses, new ways to gain knowledge, and smaller certification opportunities in the private sector. When there are barriers to entry, we end up having less participation in the workforce, less diversity, and less opportunity for new entrants. And often that means fewer new ideas. In essence, this can become a stranglehold on economic mobility for many folks. Other opportunities for the win, short of a big job change, volunteering, mentoring, teaching, even something like a sabbatical like Peace Corps or AmeriCorps or Vista. Some of these ideas can be found at encore.org, and I will have a link to that in the comments section of this video. Let me tell you a short story. As somebody just finishing an MBA, entrepreneurism wasn't really taught in the program that I went through, but I had a burning desire that maybe I wanted to start my own business or enterprise at some point. I found a way to do that through a local chamber of commerce in a large city that was near me. And I went through a multi-week set of training there, dry running ideas about starting a business. And even though I didn't implement the business ideas right away, it created the seeds of hope and a new way of thinking and looking at them that I never picked up in the MBA program. And now many MBA programs are adding entrepreneurship programs and even cohort training to help us grow the new industries, the new technology, the new ideas, the new consumer service of the future. So this helped me have a different point of view from my salaried positions. And over time, I was able to start 2 small businesses later on, but those seeds were sown back there, and I picked that up at a very modest cost. And believe me, local economic development agencies, chambers of commerce, want to have diversity in small business, and they want to grow the power of that. Also, don't forget the power of interviewing. You can go out and set appointments with people, ask them over the phone, Zoom calls, or in person, how did they get started? What did they do to get where they are now? How did they maintain that edge? Where did they get their start? Look at their guidance, their stories, their setbacks, their workarounds they went through, how they overcame and pressed on. So we're talking about 6 ways of how to plan your next career move. Here's the next segment, the where. Where are you living? Are you open to relocation? Where are you now occupationally? What level of impact are you interested in making through the rest of your career in that same occupation? Or do you want to pivot to a new occupational or professional area? What size of company or organization do you think most you enjoy working with? And in that sense, who and what kind of person would you want to report to? Do you like managing people? What have you done on the job that you're not interested in doing into the future? You've sort of checked that off the list and you don't have to pursue that. That's great knowledge to have. And in what ways are buying or starting a business attractive or unattractive? What are your sources of income now and in the future, where you are? What are those sources right now? And those ongoing financial obligations you might have. So we're talking about 6 ways of how to plan your next career move. Here's the next one, the why. This is the bottom line, the purpose. And what is the purpose you're after? Personal freedom, fulfilling a dream or a vision. Maybe there's a calling on your life or one that you're just sensing now. What about giving back? Tapping into skills that you've not often used or maybe used a little bit, but you loved using those. How do you define success? What does happiness mean to you? I think there's a song about that. What's your drive? What drives your career aspirations? Some possibilities might include money, prestige, providing for a family, personal growth, helping others, making an impact. That can be in a community or even globally. Does work define you? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. At What's Next with Money, we love to receive viewer questions. It gives us ideas for new programming, and we really need your thinking. You can go to whatsnextwithmoney.com or to the YouTube link in the comment section below. We're talking about 6 ways of how to plan your next career move. Here's the how. How do you start? How do you exploit and tap into your interests? You might want to go for some outside professional help. Maybe a career coach, career consultant, a financial planner or financial counselor. And we have links for those below in the comment section. Could also help you. And they would do that in the context of your financial capability and resources and goals. Certainly interview people. Find out different types of job interests. Maybe take some assessments. There are also online courses you can take and a lot of options for career changers. Headhunter programs list some of those publicly. And there are online services like Indeed, LinkedIn, and various job search specialties. You can even watch Shark Tank to get ideas for starting a business and the push and pull, the risk and the opportunities there. What about your income? Where you work now, could you start the seeds of pivoting and find out new things and new skills you can do? A decade or so ago, there was a new phenomenon called entrepreneur. It starts with an I. And this was the idea that startups or new initiatives would happen within a company, and you could actually transfer and be part of a gig activity, still getting your paycheck within the company you works. Lockheed Martin had something, probably still does, called the Skunk Works, where some of the top secrets aerospace engineering took place, off-site, completely different than the rest of the company. There are always options for part-time or seasonal work where you could sample a new side gig, maybe work alongside a small business person to get a sense, do I want to be in that activity? And work in coordination with your spouse about the income they're receiving. They may be the person that will bring in the health insurance through that employee benefit while you go part-time and explore some of these new operations activities to pivot to your next career move. The idea of bridging your income and coordinating that timing to help you go where you need to go. There are other sources of money, rental income, the timing of Social Security benefits, prudent use of retirement funds as well. Be aware of health aspects, your physical and emotional health, and the impact of the work you do now. Is some of that draining you down? Is maybe the seeds of being restless, of wanting a career change, is because of the emotional and physical toll your current work is placing on you or your family? Maybe it's excessive travel or job stress or the physical rigor of that work. Always keep in mind the different sources for health insurance as you pivot or move along. And think about the stages and the variables in these time periods in your life. Where are you? Early career? Do you have family obligations? What's the right time to explore side gigs or entrepreneurial hunches or interests you have? Look at that time of pre-retirement period. You might have more capital built up, and it may be a good time to prepare to pivot, but do your research first. Even think of phased retirement. If you're planning to retire, you might be able to do that part-time and still receive an income while you start to do something different. Also, a physical move to a new location where your interests and new opportunities align with the place and the setting. There are many things that we can do online, distance, but being in an environment where new ideas, new companies, and even different industries are located may be just the ticket for you. You may be actually in the wrong place and you need to relocate. So finally, think about your destiny. What do you want to be remembered for? With your children, your spouse, family heritage? Is it faith-based, community, national service? What about your long-term reputation? Do you have an interest in creativity or the arts? Do you want to put a creative stamp on the world, your stamp? Innovation, new products, new enterprises, and philanthropy, giving back. We've been talking about 6 ways of how to plan your next career move with a focus on being an entrepreneur. So, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and remember, new episodes of What's Next with Money are available on Thursdays.